I must tell you, I just had screaming fight with my family.
Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Well,
Yeah, first thing in the morning, and it really spoiled my mood.
okay, well, we can talk about that. But first, I want to welcome you to the 12-hour podcast, Ahmed.
Hi, Adam, and welcome to you as well.
Thank you. Well, um, are you cool to talk about this screaming match? I know I've had my fair share with my family. I could share plenty of stories about my family.
Yeah, so maybe you can start with one.
Sure, I could start with one. I'll go far back. I'll go back to when. I'll give you two stories. How about that? I'm going to give you two stories. So, when I was a kid, how old would I have been? Maybe, I don't know, 15, 16, around there. I don't even remember what I was arguing with my father about, but I was arguing about something, and let's say he's the type to not be particularly in tune with other people's how other people might feel about certain things when he's communicating to them. Let's say his EQ at certain moments in time is not all that high. Let's just say that. So I got in this particular moment, I got decently perturbed, to say it lightly, and I gave my dad the middle finger.
And how old were you?
Probably about like 15 or 16 years old,
Mm,
and he lost his mind, like
and
absolutely
I can
lost it.
imagine.
Oh yeah, he lost it big time, but I didn't care. It like I needed to do it. Like I needed to do that. Um, and I mean, he gave me the middle finger a couple times too, and I'm sure he needed to do that as well.
Mhm.
Yeah. So that's one story. I don't remember enough details about it because it's like it was a long time ago. But there's another one where I remember a little bit more details. So I walked into my parents' place, and my brother happened to be there with his wife, and he was like helping clean up or something like that in the kitchen. And I walked in, said hello everybody, and then he like I was a little bit like already kind of stressed out. There were some things happening in my life that like was putting me on edge, and like I was constantly on edge. I would say at this point in my life, constantly on edge, and I tried to like just like find out what's going on with him. He seemed stressed out as well, so I said like, why don't you come like grab a seat, like let's chat, let's find out like how you been, what's going on. And then he said like some sort of comment that was it was kind of like it was like uncalled for and like rude and just disrespectful. Let's just say it's disrespectful. I don't remember exactly what he said, but I just remember it was like a really disrespectful thing, and then I just snapped. I lost it on him, big time. And my mom was like crying. She went to the other room, and I mean it's not funny, but I'm laughing now because uh, I
Yeah,
guess
because
it's
right now it might look like a scene from a comedy movie.
yeah, yeah, sort of something like that. It was just like very dramatic, like unnecessarily dramatic. Um, so yeah, and his wife was saying nothing. She said nothing, and yeah, and then I would say for about 2 or 3 months, I just stopped reaching out to him. Maybe it was longer than that. It might have been like 6 or 7 months. I just stopped trying to reach out to him. I stopped trying to like find out what's going on with him and make an effort with him. Um, yeah, And that's just and things got better over time. Like it took a while, but things got better, and they've been better now. But that's a little
I
bit
see.
as to like what. Yeah, just a couple times, a couple moments. For you, it's a lot fresher. It sounds like this just happened.
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
as fresh as this
as
hot
fresh
brewed
as
tea.
that's pretty fresh.
Yeah. Yeah. So if I tell you my story, I'll be telling you hundreds of stories.
Hmm.
You can imagine this happening every time.
Okay.
So, and that's the main reason I lose my cool, because it happens so often. It happens so frequently,
Right.
and I see myself as someone who is responsible. And if I see something not happening the right way at the home, I'm someone who points it out, who rectifies it, who tries to tell them that this is not supposed to be done.
Okay.
Right. And yeah, I can be a person of high EQ and I can explain it calmly.
Hmm.
But if it keeps happening, if it keeps happening every few days, uh, I can't keep the same EQ I had the first time.
Right. It drives you
Every
nuts.
time, definitely, it literally burns a hole in my chest
Right.
if I do not speak it up.
Right. It pushes you over
So
the edge.
no, I'm telling you my literal sensation, literal feeling that I feel a burning hole right here if I don't speak up,
Right.
right? Because I don't know why is it okay to not say anything about it, and is it is okay to do repeat the same pattern of silly behaviors
Hmm.
that can easily be controlled and should be controlled because it is incurring you know large monetary losses.
Ah. Okay. So this is affecting things financially.
I mean, it can snowball, definitely.
Right.
It does. So what happens is, it may sound silly to a lot of people, but here's the thing: the appliances, for example, are supposed to be turned off after you have used them, or
Okay.
they should be run only for or a short duration, right?
Sure.
Like, let's say a refrigerator, you're supposed to not open it for more like 30 seconds. 30 seconds is enough, right?
Yeah.
30
Should.
seconds to 1 minute.
Yeah. Should be plenty of time.
Well, it shouldn't be kept open for 5 minutes.
Right. Yeah. That seems unnecessary. 5 minutes is a long time.
Yeah, and at times you can see that the person is enjoying getting the cool air from the refrigerator, and that's the only reason they are opening.
That's funny. Yeah,
Yeah,
they
it can
maybe
spoil.
they're too hot, so they're trying to cool themselves down.
Yeah, I agree. But that doesn't mean you can abuse the refrigerator. It's gonna definitely break it down.
Right. I mean, you have an
The
air.
refrigerator
Do you have
is,
an air conditioner at home?
yeah, we do.
Okay.
The
Do you have ice at home?
We do, of course.
Okay. You got ice. You got an air conditioner. You got
No,
plenty of ways to cool someone down.
yeah. So you can see why it burns me up, because it's the most illogical way
Mm. Yeah, it
to go about it.
seems like overkill.
It's stupid, basically. I wonder I did not use that word so far.
Mm.
That's stupid.
Mm. Yeah, it seems silly. I mean, if it happens once, okay, it happens once. Like you kind of okay, whatever. But I
No,
know.
so
Yeah.
recently, I saw this happening right in front of my eyes, and I explained them. Was the fridge open for too long? And they were like, "It's not a big deal." Okay. So a few days later, it happened again. And this time again, I raised my voice just a little bit. And I said, see, this is what happens when I don't raise my voice.
Mm.
If I'm explaining calmly, it doesn't even make any difference.
Right. Does this person agree that it's not a good idea?
They are stupid.
So they think it's okay.
They have no scientific background
Right.
or IQ to understand these kind of stuff.
Right. Okay. So
This is the conclusion that I come to because these things happen
it's funny.
so often.
Right. But does this person think that it's okay to do?
If you do not know what is wrong with it, by default, you are bound to think that it is okay.
Right. Right. Okay. So this person does think that it's okay to do. Yeah.
Definitely.
Okay.
So I asked ChatGPT, how long are you supposed to open
That's
the
awesome.
fridge?
That's
I
so
took a
funny.
screenshot.
That's so
I took a
funny.
screenshot and sent
Yeah.
it to them.
Yeah. So what this is, like I think we've talked about this before. This is a flat earther, right?
I
Flat
don't want to make that
earthers.
analogy. I don't
Yeah.
want to make that analogy,
Yeah.
but yeah,
Flat earther.
every time something like that
Yeah.
happens, I mean, every other conclusion goes out of my mind other than that they are stupid.
Well, the thing is like it doesn't matter what evidence you show somebody for why the earth is round. If they want to believe the earth is flat, then no matter what you tell them, they'll come up with some sort of way that whatever you showed them further proves why the earth is flat. Right? So if somebody believes that it doesn't make a difference and it's totally okay to do, then it doesn't matter what evidence you show them otherwise. They're not going to be. So something you could do, Neil deGrasse Tyson mentions this. This is a technique I use. Is I say to somebody, I go, what type of evidence would I have to show you in order for you to believe that this is a bad idea? What do you need
Mm.
to see? What evidence do you need? And they might come up with, if they're the type of person that comes up with something where it's like impossible for you to ever provide that evidence, then you know that it doesn't matter what you say or do, they're just going to believe what they believe. Now, if they come up with something that you can do to prove to them and then you do it and then they still don't believe, then again, there's nothing you can do to prove to them otherwise that this is the case, that where the truth actually is. Right? They have their own personal truth. They're not necessarily interested in objective reality. So, in my opinion, it doesn't matter like how much you yell or how upset you get. It's not going to make a difference. It's just going to look at you and be like, "This person's crazy." Like, what's wrong with Ahmed? He has no patience. Like the lens that they're looking through is very different than the lens that you want them to look through. Right?
Mm.
So it would have to be some work. It would definitely be some work. It's not a simple scenario. These types of things are not simple and straightforward. They should be, but they're not.
Yeah,
Without being able to communicate with this person myself, it's hard for me to know exactly, like, to give you an idea of some things that would help. But you could start, like I've done that before with people, to just try to figure out how much of a flat earther this person is.
I don't know because I I really can't fight this with logic anymore. The logic is gone out of the window because
Yeah.
I I'm starting to feel like that I need to you know take some drastic measure or something.
Is this
It's
person younger or older?
One is my sister and other is my mother.
Okay, so one is around the same age, I'm assuming, and then your mom is obviously older. And they do the
Mhm.
same thing.
Oh boy. They both have their own set of you know like what proof do I have to give to explain not to waste water.
Hmm.
What do you think?
Well, I mean, water's an more interesting one. I don't know how the water system there works, but here I don't really think about wasting water because it just gets recycled, right? So you turn on the tap, and it's not like that water gets used and then you can never use it again, right? It just goes down the drain, goes through the sewage system, and it gets recycled. It gets cleaned again and then used again. So is it? Are you really wasting the water?
Tons of water because you we have this water pump
Hmm.
that can fill the tank in 10 minutes.
Hmm.
So the most logical thing is to turn it on, set a timer for 10 minutes, or maybe keep reminding yourself or do something, but make sure that you switch it off in 10 minutes.
Okay, gotcha. I see what you're saying. So it's not really so much the wasting of the water; it's more the fact that there's a limit to how much water can be held and then used at one time. And then once it's all used up, then somebody would have to wait another 10 minutes before they can start using water again, essentially.
No, they don't have to wait for 10 minutes. That's not the case. So let's say the tank is supposed to be filled once a day,
Right.
and every day we have to switch on the motor for 10 minutes.
Oh, okay.
So 10 minutes is something that I feel can easily be set a timer on,
Right.
or you can give yourself a mental reminder in 10 minutes. That's very doable. But very, very, very frequently and often, what I see is that it stays on for hours.
Is there a way to engineer a solution? Like have a some sort of device that's hooked up to the tap and that automatically turns it off after 10 minutes of use.
It can happen only when they are nearby the the storage and the motor, but the pump currently is way below the ground.
But I
It's
mean, is there a way
underground
like to
boring pump.
as soon as you turn on the tap, it triggers some sort of device that will force the tap to turn off within a certain amount of time.
I'm not sure if there was, then someone would have suggested that the electrician or something.
Hmm.
But here's the thing: how many timers am I gonna put on? Right? This is just one pump that
Right.
as I said, I'm giving you one example, but think of
Sure.
it as 100,
Sure. Sure.
because it's not just the pump. It's sometimes it's the electric iron, sometimes it's the geyser,
Right.
sometimes it's the uh, uh, hair dryer. Now, here's another thing: we are not supposed to put these high power devices into the plugs that are associated with the generator, the inverter,
Right.
backup inverter. So it was clearly told by the inverter person, the maintenance guy, that you're not supposed to put any high power device into these particular plugs. So what I did was I took a marker and put an X on every plug that was connected to the backup inverter.
Right.
Now, how clear does it have to be?
So they do it anyways.
What do I tell you? Every month, every few months, the inverter dies.
Right.
It needs to be repaired every few months because of this stupid thing. And when I tell them the hair dryer is a high power device, they come up with an argument: no, it is not. And then again, I have to go back to ChatGPT, and ChatGPT verifies.
And
But by then, it's too late.
what do they say when you show them proof?
They say nothing. Of course,
And they do it
when
anyways.
what can I can't keep an eye on them 24/7.
Of
So I
course.
don't know
Well, you don't
what.
want. You also don't want to really micromanage people, right? Because it drives you crazy, and it's just not really a good idea. So you have two choices, as far as I can tell.
Hmm.
One is to accept it, that things are not going to necessarily be happening in a logical way, and it's just part of living with these people. And it might cost more money unnecessarily, but perhaps that's just the necessary evil of living with them. Um, or you can figure out a way to convince them otherwise. There are some. There's this really interesting. Have you ever heard of Masterclass?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So there's this guy who's like an ex FBI hostage negotiator. I forget his name.
Mm-hmm.
Pretty
Yep.
famous guy. And he talks about how to negotiate with people. And he negotiates with.
Yeah, I guess I've seen that in on YouTube.
Right.
There was a channel called Watch Mojo, I think.
Okay. Okay.
So yeah,
Yeah.
uh, the title was something similar. Learn negotiating from an ex-FBI or ex-CIA, something like that.
Something like that, yeah. So it might have been the same guy. Anyway, so these are people that have like unbelievable negotiation skills. They have to because they're like in life and death situations, right? So the strategies that they have tend to be pretty good. I've actually written them all down. I wrote down because I thought they were fantastic, and I can go through some of them with you, and I can also share them with you. So these are sort of like a Cole's Notes version of what I learned. So the title of this masterclass was called The Art of Negotiation. So one thing, I'll read this out to you. So mirror other people's words by repeating just a few of their words, many times the words they ended with. Use a great tone of voice that sounds curious. Go silent after mirroring to allow the other person to think and respond. Okay, so the idea is like you say something, and then I will say like the last few words, like something about the last few words that you said, and I'll just repeat it back in such a tone that is calm and that shows genuine curiosity about what you had to say. Like if they're like, it's no big deal, you would say, it's no big deal? And that's it. It's no big deal? And like you're curious to find out more. Like what do they think? They're trying to get into their head. You're trying to understand them. And what he's talking about here is a lot of times if you get people to talk, you find out a lot of times the decisions they're making have nothing to do with the thing that they're actually doing. It's about something totally different than what they're actually originally saying. Like it's not that they actually think it's no big deal. There's something else going on. But you got to kind of like dig away at the surface. And a lot of times they don't even know why they're doing what they're doing. They're just doing it. So you have to get to the kind of to the meat of the situation. So that's just like one of those techniques to help you do that. Right? So we could kind of role play this a little bit too. And it might be interesting. Now, he also talks about using what he would describe as like a radio-friendly voice. Because, especially in like a hostage situation, you don't want to be like getting the person freaked out or get them on their defensive, right? You want to make it seem as if you're trying to genuinely understand how they think and you're trying to help them put themselves into a better situation. Like you're on their side, you're on their team, right? It's not you against them. You're on their side and you're just genuinely interested to understand them and how they think about stuff. That's a very different approach, and definitely puts somebody more in a position of wanting to give you the right information so you can then best figure out how to navigate the way that they think and get them kind of on track with where maybe they should be in their thought process. Okay, but to get there, again, you've got to come at it from like that you're on the same team with them. Now, this might take a few attempts at this because they're used to you being different. So if you're all of a sudden like this, sort of trying to understand them, they'll probably be like, what's going on here? Right? They'll be skeptical of it. So you might have to do it a bunch.
And they may not even answer back.
They might not even answer back. Now, I'll give you more. There's a lot here. So he talks about labeling to diffuse a confrontation and a negative response. So you want to say things like, it sounds like you're, or it seems like you're, and you would finish it off with like upset, angry, frustrated, like tied to an emotion, right? I do this all the time actually with people now. It's a great way to like show empathy and show that you're genuinely trying to understand them. So like with you, you're telling me all these things that are going on with you. If I was to give you my perspective right away, you don't want that. You're trying to connect with me first, right? If I go right away into what I think you should do instead, that's not going to be as useful as me saying something like this. And I did this a bunch with you at the beginning. Like, this sounds like it's kind of eating you up. Or this sounds like this is really stressing you out. Right? And you're going to be like, yeah, it is. And you're going to open up more about it. And then it's going to kind of diffuse you, right? Because you're going to get the impression like I understand you, or at least I'm trying to understand where you're coming from. Right? So that helps. It's about connecting with them first. Now, the idea as well here that he describes is let the label sink in without saying anything after that one sentence. So I might say to you, it seems like you're really stressed out about this, Ahmed.
Oh yeah, I keep getting flashbacks. I'm trying to imagine different scenarios that it could have gone, but it's like every way I think it ends up being me screaming.
Right. Right. Well, that's because that's your approach so far. That's been your approach.
No, the thing is, I have tried different approaches in the past.
Right.
As I said, it happens a lot.
Sure.
So it's not that I haven't tried to explain calmly or logically, or implemented these negotiation skills. I might have included many of those without even knowing, but
right
now all those times are coming back to me, and they're like, what, like, how frustrating it is.
Yeah, it's really unsettling.
It's deeper, I guess.
Yeah, it's like really, it distracts you from other things you'd probably rather be thinking about.
Yeah, definitely. That's the main reason I started with this fact.
Sure.
Because I didn't want you to wonder why I'm lost or where I'm lost.
Oh, that's okay. I'm always lost, man. I don't even know where I am right now. I don't even know what I'm doing.
But I see a difference. You're not standing today, you're sitting.
That's right. Yeah, I was just kind of in the mood to sit. I'm like, I'm going to sit today. I've been standing a lot. So, yeah. So this is a stand-up. I think I told you this before. This is a stand-up desk. So I decided, you know what? I'm just going to this is going to be a sit down podcast this time. Why not?
Yeah.
It's just more comfy. So, and it's like, you see, so I did the same things with you just now, right? Like I could see that, like what I want to do is I want to get you on my train of thought. But if I'm just trying to do that without connecting with you, it's not going to work. It's going to frustrate you because you're trying to connect with me right now. And you want me to understand where you're coming from. That's really important to you in this situation, in this moment, right? If I'm not allowing you to do that, it's going to be very frustrating for you, right? And understandably. So I noticed that, and then I'm like, okay, let's put this aside for the moment, and let's make sure that you get the impression that I'm at least putting in a strong effort to understand where you're coming from. Right? And then once I do that in a way that's satisfactory to you, so it has to be to the level that you are satisfied. Once you're satisfied, then we can kind of go somewhere else. Then you're ready to go somewhere else. And if I said to you right now, like, well, let's go through a few more of these, you'd probably be much more open and receptive to doing that than if I was to not allow you to connect with me and explain what's going on in your mind and just be like, okay, and then I just continue going through it. You'll be like, you won't be as like is present, at least, right?
Right.
So it could be this. There could be something similar that's happening with them, right? They're kind of ignoring you. They're shutting you out. That's essentially what's happening. You're just noise, right? If what you did made a difference, then, well, it would make a difference, right? So, understandably, that you've tried all these different things and nothing seems to be working and getting to the result that you would like. So, of course, it's going to be frustrating, to say the least. I mean, obviously, yeah. I think anybody would be frustrated by that, for sure. So again, there's two choices. Like one is accept it and just be like, it's a lost cause. There's no hope, no point wasting my energy and my time on this. If it's going to cost more, it's going to cost more. It is what it is. And you just accept it. Or you figure out a new strategy. I mean, those are the only options. There's no other options, really. I mean, not that I can think of anyways. Yeah. So if you want, more than happy to go through. There might be something else in here that makes you go like, oh, that's really interesting. Or maybe there isn't. I don't know. But there might be something within, like there is quite a good list of stuff.
Yeah, but all those strategies involve talking.
Yes, Amit. That's true.
And what I can tell you is talking sense. You can get what I'm trying to say.
Yeah. Well, then maybe you just need maybe it's about timing as well, right? So it's got to be the right time for you and the right time for them. So maybe in the moment is not the right time.
But I would again like to, clarify that it's not that I've always spoken in the moment. It's
Sure.
for many times I've waited to tell them later.
Right.
But it always comes back with a defensive attitude,
Right.
and that becomes even more annoying,
Of course.
even more frustrating. Right? Like if I tell them the motor was on, and the response comes, "What motor?
What motor?
What motor? How many motors do we have? We have just one motor at home, which is left on every so often that they forget to turn off. The same motor.
How often do they forget to turn it off? Like, let's say they are to turn it on out of 10 times. how many times would they forget to turn it off? And like really not based upon the fact that you're like frustrated talking about it. And think about like being reasonable and fair. How many times? I have 10 times.
Yeah. So I can remember at least like on an average 2 times a week. So that's 2 out of 7. You can say 3 out of 10.
Okay, so about 3 out of 10 times. Yeah, so that's a pretty. So that means that they do. Okay, so that means that they do like 70% of the time, give or take, they are turning it off. Okay, which is certainly better than 60, 50, 40, 30, 10, right? So that's something. It needs to be better. So maybe there's a perspective of like, okay, let's go from 70 to 80% of the time. Let's start with that. Let's go from 70 to 80%. That's much more doable than 70 to 100%. Right? And then at least we're going in the right direction. It's not perfect, but we're going in the right direction. So how do we do that? Well, I think that's easier for sure than a situation where it's, let's say, 10 out of 10 times. That means they're never seeing a value in turning it off. Never. Right? If they're doing it at least 7 out of 10 times, it means they understand that that has to be done. Okay, so this is good. That's a great starting point. So I think that maybe a good question is to ask something like, what makes you decide to turn that off versus leave it on? Like, how does that happen? Like, I'm genuinely curious. Like, you have to come from
Yeah.
it at a point of curiosity to understand them. And their answer will
Yeah. Can you
probably yeah.
repeat the question? How
Question
can we come
yeah.
to the conclusion?
No, like so I would ask something like, what makes you decide or what happens? Because most of the time, you guys are awesome. Like you turn it off most of the time. This motor, you turn it off most of the time, which is great. But how does it happen that sometimes it doesn't, like it just, maybe it slips your mind or you decided not to turn it off? Like, how does that happen? Like in what circumstances would you not turn it off? That's a good question. Like in which circumstances would you not turn it off? Like I was watching a really interesting video of this lady that was describing how she's a stay-at-home mom. And she, washes dishes. And she notices that her husband finishes his, like, drinking out of a glass and always puts his glass next to the sink, never in the sink or just in the dishwasher. And she's always going and then cleaning that glass. And it happens all the time. And it drives her crazy. And she gets into her head that he's just trying to drive me nuts. That's why he does this, because he's trying to drive me crazy. I keep telling him not to do this thing. So the only thing that's possible in her mind is he's trying to drive me crazy. Okay. Anyways, there's one day where she's drinking a glass of water. And it was, by the way, it was a water glass that he left there. She's drinking a water glass and she finishes her water. And then she takes her water glass and she puts it next to the sink. And then she realizes, oh, wait a minute. I do the same thing too. And the reason why I do that is because, well, I only drank out of the glass one time. And then I'm probably going to get more water. So then to remember which glass I drank out of, I just leave it in that spot. So I know that this is the glass I drank out of. So I don't have to like clean glass from drinking out of it one time and then grab another fresh glass, right? I can just use the same glass again when next time I want water during the day, right? So the point I'm trying to make is there can be multiple reasons why people do things that might have actually some logic to it that maybe we don't fully understand. So I think it's really good to be like genuinely curious as to why people do things. And their answer might be as simple as like, you know what? Like sometimes it slips my mind. And okay, fair enough. fair enough. It slips your mind. So then it might be like, is there anything I can do to help make it easier to remember? Like, I genuinely want to help. Is there anything I can do to make it a little bit easier? And I can't imagine if you're really genuinely trying to be helpful to them, and they see, like, again, they must see the value in turning off this motor, or else, I mean, they would never do it. Never. Right? I mean, that's a logical conclusion to come to. So there must be reasons why it just doesn't happen sometimes. So we got to kind of figure that out. Like, what is that? Do they have in their mind, like, it makes sense under certain particular circumstances to not turn off the motor? Are they just giving you these answers like what motor because it's kind of like, they're just trying not to get into the discussion with you, and they're just trying to, like, blow you off so you'd leave them alone? Right? Are they purposely trying to kind of frustrate you as a means to, like, get you to stop bothering them about it? Like, who knows? Like we don't necessarily know their point of view well enough. Potentially, I'm just guessing. Like, there might be some really good reasons that might be kind of interesting. That might make it might make you go like, oh, I never actually considered that before. That actually kind of makes sense, or that's fair enough. You forget sometimes. Okay, let's work together on this to help you remember. Right? And that's a very different approach than just, like, getting pissed. And understandable. Again, understandable that you'd be pissed off about it and you'd be frustrated. Obviously makes perfect sense. I'm just saying that there might be something interesting to uncover from this.
I mean, the only reason that, I mean, there could be plenty of reasons, but you can generalize them by, what I'm trying to remember the name of it. I think it's called executive function. It's a term that basically helps you keep a check on things, or helps you do. I don't know how to exactly put it. Maybe we can ask GPT to explain it.
Executive function. I
So,
know what this means. It's either, it's one of two things. It's either, like, things that kind of just happen more from, like, muscle memory and automatically, or executive function might be the opposite, like, where you're, like, purposefully thinking about doing things and you're, like, really aware. I can't remember which one it is. Like,
yeah,
total opposites, but I just don't remember
yeah.
which one it
It's
is.
more like, it's more like the latter one.
Okay.
So it's something like you're not leaving things in autopilot.
Okay, so it's the
So that's,
opposite of autopilot. Okay, gotcha. Yeah. I wasn't sure which one it was.
yeah. So executive function is something like, uh, like you don't forget things or leave them or something like. I've seen them forget things, literally objects. Forget, just simply forget about them.
I mean, maybe they have ADD.
Lose. Sorry,
Maybe they have ADD.
I don't know.
It's
It's
possible,
not a
right?
recognized. It's not a recognized condition in India. It's
Okay.
not that common.
Okay.
ADD is relatively new in the
Okay.
Western world as well. So
Yeah.
in India, it's like not even heard of.
Yeah. Like,
I'm sure.
yeah, it could be,
I'm sure
right?
a lot of people. Yeah, I'm sure a lot of people have that.
Yeah.
It's very possible. But as I said, in India, the mental health itself is, lagging a lot.
Right.
There is
Sure.
not enough study and execution of it.
Sure. Sure.
So ADD comes much, much later.
Right. 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 And like I'm saying, like, it could be something as simple as that. Like, again, like, what do I know? I'm not a psychiatrist, or and I don't do diagnoses on things. I'm just saying there may be reasons for these things that kind of put it a bit out of their control. Potentially, right? So again, from your perspective, understandably, it would be frustrating because if you're not the type of person to be forgetful, and they are, then and of course it's going to be frustrating. But at the same time, there may be kind of underlying reasons why that might be happening that's a bit out of their control. And I'm just saying, hypothetically, if that is the case, then can you really reasonably get upset about that? Like, is it fair?
No, while you were saying that, something came to my mind,
Hmm.
and I realized that it's actually not just my sister and mom. I can see that in my nephews as well. I can see that in their parents, which is again my other sister and brother-in-law. All of them have this forgetfulness gene or factor. What do you want to call it?
Yeah, I mean,
But
it could be something. It could be a learning disability thing. It could be an ADD thing. It could be a variety of things. Um, I mean, do they are these folks of yours, like these family members? Are they also like do they have a lot of energy?
oh,
Do they seem to be like very energetic type of people?
oh my God.
And like talking but like very like quickly nonstop like
Of course.
yeah, so these are symptoms of ADD. These are symptoms of ADHD. That's why I'm asking them. I know because I was
But
diagnosed with ADD when I was a kid.
but all of them.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean it's there are genetic factors. There's it's been shown that if you have family members that have ADD, you have a much higher likelihood of having ADD yourself. For sure. Yeah. There's a great book. There's this fantastic book I read. It's called Driven to Distraction. And it's about this it's this psychiatrist. It's a book that was written by a psychiatrist and he it's like an account of all his patients that have ADD and he has ADD as well. And he diagnoses people with ADD. And he talks about all these people's stories. And and if you listen to it, like at least I have ADD, so I listen to this. I'm like, oh my god, that's me. That's me. Like I'm this person. That's crazy. So there might be things in that book that make you go like, whoa, that's my mom. That's so my mom. Right? And it might give you a bit more empathy. That empathy could help kind of diffuse a bit. It might not necessarily completely get rid of the frustration because it can be very frustrating to interact with people that have ADD, especially if you don't have ADD yourself. You can be like, what's wrong with these people? Are they crazy? Like, what's going on with them? But it could just be an ADD thing. And ADD is very interesting. It's there's actually a lot of benefits to having it, like in terms of the way the brain works. You have this like ability to kind of like hyper focus on things in ways that people just cannot do it. Especially if there's like repetitive, like things that are repetitive. I'm not sure if maybe this is another sign too. Like, can you ever see like your nephew or your mom or your sister or any of these folks in your family that like if they have something like really kind of basic but it's super repetitive that they could do it forever? Does that ever happen? Just wondering.
Like cooking?
It could be anything. It could be like a really simple task and they can just like get so focused and honed in on it and they become like super really really good at those very particular things.
I don't know. I can't think of anything but cooking because I don't know. Cooking is pretty common here.
Okay. Yeah, I know that's a big part of your culture for sure. Um, okay. Yeah, there might be things like maybe when it comes to things to do with cooking, like I don't know, like cutting a bag of carrots and they get everything like perfect, and they like it just gets arranged in like or they could like take like I don't know, they can take a big bag of fruit and like cut it all up and portion it out, and it just seems to be like they enjoy doing like simple, basic tasks, and like that is a lot of repetition. Like, is where you wouldn't really do that yourself so much. There could be things like that. Maybe, maybe not,
Mm,
maybe
uh,
not. I don't know. Just taking a shot in the dark.
yeah, I'm not able to recollect any other thing other than cooking because cooking has a lot of repetitive tasks like cutting, chopping veggies, and
Yeah.
I don't know.
Okay. Yeah. Anyway, so um, it could be something like that, right? It could be something like that, and that could be why they're forgetful. And this might be a strategy that they're using to say things like "what motor," because they're trying to get you to kind of leave them alone. It could be, could be. I don't know for sure. Like I can't speak for them, but I'm just kind of taking a bit of a stab in the dark. Yeah,
Hmm.
yeah. So, anyways, things to think about. Things to think about. By the way, I want to let
Yeah,
you.
I already have a lot to think about.
Yeah. By the way, I like your shirt.
Yeah, nice.
You look like you're ready for a night out on the town.
Yeah, is it that kind of a show?
Yeah, that's like a shirt I would wear. Okay, like it's probably also like cultural, right? But here, I would wear that kind of shirt if I was going out on like a Saturday night for like a couple drinks, maybe to a club. It's like kind of flashy, and it's like that's not the type of shirt that. But you could wear that shirt casually too, I suppose. Like you could just wear that shirt like every day, just hanging out. You could, but that to me, that's like a shirt you wear. You're going to the club. You're gonna wear that shirt.
I see. I'll remember that if I go to a club in the near future because I rarely go to any club. I haven't been to a club in like what? Oh yeah, last I think few months back I went to a club and that was by accident. We were planning to have a dinner at a cool place at a
Okay.
new place.
Right.
Yeah, we ended there and it turned out to be a club.
Okay.
So
Okay.
after midnight, it turns into this rocking place, happening place.
All right. Cool. Cool.
Yeah.
Cool. Cool. That sounds like fun. What would you typically wear if you were going to a club? If you weren't going to wear that shirt, what would you wear? Like
I'm
what would
not
it be?
very, yeah, I'm not very particular, but
Okay.
I guess I would be wearing something dark, a black shirt probably,
Okay. Gotcha.
black shirt and blue jeans.
Okay. Okay. Gotcha. Gotcha. Yeah, I haven't been to a club in a very long time either. Very long time. I used to go to a club a lot because I used to play guitar at clubs.
Mm.
There'd be like a DJ, and he would play like instrumental house music, and then I would just like play stuff on the guitar while he's doing that. And I'd usually try to dress a little bit like, you know, flashy or something. Anyways, but those days are
So it's
long
always
gone.
better to, so it's always better to wear something flashy at a pub.
Not necessarily. A lot of people don't, but I like to. Yeah, I like to. But
Yeah, but you were a musician, so it kind of stereotypes, right? You have to stand out from the crowd.
yeah, you don't have to, but I like to. I like to wear stuff that's a little funky or a little different or whatever. Yeah, yeah, absolutely. It's more fun. Clothes should be fun.
But
Like that. Like that's like if you're on a stage playing an instrument, you can wear pretty much anything and get away with it.
true.
Because people are like,
And
okay, like that's just what you're wearing on stage, fine. But if it was like everyday life, it would be like, what in the hell is that guy wearing? On a stage, it could be like, what the hell is that guy wearing? But it's like, okay, but he's on stage. Fair enough. Like, it's fine.
so if you were to go out this weekend, what would you wear?
Oh, me at this point, I wear like a t-shirt, jeans, and then maybe like a sport jacket or something. I mean, but it's also really hot out. So maybe just a t-shirt and jeans. Yeah. Like super casual.
Yeah, and leave the jacket in the car, maybe.
Yeah. Yeah, because it gets super hot. Like now it's pretty warm here. I mean, for us. I know not so much for
Of
you,
course.
but warm
Yeah,
here
so
is
your
like,
warm would be what, 15?
no, more than that. Don't be silly. Warm here would be like 26, 30 Celsius. Yeah, so it's decent. It's not hot. It's definitely not
Yeah,
hot.
it's about the same temperature here.
Yeah. But it's nice weather. It's like, it's plenty warm enough that, you're going to need some cold water. You're going to need to be hydrating.
Mhm.
Yeah. Yeah. So it's pretty good. It's pretty good.
Yeah. Yeah, and the weather here, it's monsoon, by the way.
Oh,
So
it's
at
monsoon
times you
season.
can, yeah, so at times you can get that petrichor smell, an amazing smell of the rain.
Gotcha. Okay.
Yeah, this smell kind of is nostalgic because when we were kids, every year, this is around this time, a new academic year would begin.
Okay.
So a lot of exciting things, exciting memories of college and school around this time.
Hmm.
This smell is like very, pleasant for us.
Nice. Nice. Oh, something we forgot to do, and we should have done it at the beginning. You know what it is?
Mm, oh, are you talking about the reminder kind of thing?
Yeah. Yeah. The reminder. The reminder. Clearly the reminder's not working very well.
Is it?
Well, I mean, we got 4 views.
Oh,
That's a lot of
how did
views
that happen?
because people are not listening.
They have ADD?
Yeah, maybe they have ADD, or maybe they just don't care, and it's not cool. So I'd like to say again for all the people that are definitely not watching this. There's no way anybody's watching this right now, but if for some strange reason you are, why?
If you are FBI,
Yeah, maybe. But like, why? Why would you be doing that? You should be doing other things. There's podcasts all over the place that are really good, really really good. This one
yeah.
is a waste of your time. So don't hang out anymore. Go do something, anything else. Basically, go just do anything else with your life. And if you do anything else with your life right now, you'll be doing something better.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
In fact, a lot of good podcasts, they go unnoticed. I last night learned about this amazing podcast. It's on health,
Okay.
and it is run by a famous actress of India,
Okay.
and yet not enough people are watching it.
How many people watch it? Do you know?
I haven't checked out the channel yet, and I'll have to look up the name as well.
Well, then how do you know
Uh,
not if people are watching it?
because the Instagrammer, this particular person, he mentioned that this is a channel that has already been running and has amazing content, but it doesn't have enough viewers. That is what they said. So I thought, okay, I'll check it out tomorrow.
Okay. Okay. Well, let me know how it goes. Next time, you'll let me know how it goes.
Oh, most definitely. Or maybe we can look it up together right now.
We could. We definitely could. Let's do it. But like I was saying, If you're watching this right now, you obviously don't understand how this podcast works. Our goal is to give you the lowest quality content you can possibly receive anywhere because we're trying to stand out. We're trying to be different than all the other YouTube channels out there. All the other YouTube channels out there want to, provide you as much value as possible. We're trying to do the exact opposite because if we do, then we'll be very different than everything else. And every other channel is trying to get you to subscribe and like their videos and comment on them. We don't want you to do any of that. Don't do anything. Don't watch this. Don't subscribe. Don't like it. Don't comment. Don't ping the notification bell. None of that stuff. Do that on other channels. That's what all the other channels are for, not this one.
Yeah, and we are taking you to another channel for the very specific for the very same reason.
Yeah, let's do that. Exactly.
So yeah, something better.
Yeah, we want to take you to a different channel because, well, then, it just makes sense. You don't want to be this one. By the way, all of the I'm liking that you've taken the time to change all of the thumbnails. Very good.
Mm-hmm.
Excellent. Okay, where are we going?
So we are searching Samantha Ruth Prabhu.
Whoa. Okay, so Samantha, and then what?
Ruth.
Oh, Ruth. Okay. Oh, I got it. Prabhu. Got it.
And podcast.
Okay, yeah. Are insulin spikes secretly sabotaging your health? She's got 36,000 views from an episode that she put up a day ago. And this is exactly what I was talking about. Her content is high quality and a lot of effort goes into it. And it's visually appealing. And
she's talking about health.
She's talking about health. So this is a fantastic channel. But we're not doing that. We're not going to do that here. We're not doing any of that. No. Absolutely not. And kind of upset at everybody for watching. There's 4 people that watch this. I'm pretty upset at you. What were you thinking? But okay, I will watch this. I don't know if we're allowed to actually play this on like right now because YouTube might restrict that. I think they restrict you from playing stuff. Right now it's not a big deal because again, we don't really have any subscribers. But if we one day did, which we definitely won't ever, but if hypothetically we did, then it could cause problems. So let's be good YouTube citizens and abide by the policies.
Right.
But kind of cool, and nonetheless.
We still wanna follow the guidelines.
Yeah. But I could look at it on my own time. I can watch some of her content.
I'm going to look it up too later.
Yeah.
So speaking of health, last week you gave me a challenge, or I made you give a challenge to me.
Oh, yes. Tell me. Do share.
So what do you think happened?
I think you were able to do it. I think you were able to do 100 push-ups at least every other day on average.
So on the first day of the challenge, I did it. I was surprised. 100 was, getting 100 done was doable and easy.
Yeah, it's not too difficult.
So on the first day, 100 was done. I probably did over 100, but let's stick to 100.
Good job.
And on the second day, it dropped to 50.
50?
50.
How'd that happen?
Because I had lectures.
Okay.
So I wasn't at home all day.
But you could have done it anywhere. You can do push-ups anywhere. You don't have to be at home.
I've never done a push-up outside home ever.
Why not?
Never even thought of it.
Yeah, you could do it in the lecture hall. Yeah, you could do it at your
during the lecture.
No, after the lecture is done. All the students go. You got the lecture hall to yourself. You do a few push-ups.
Maybe I've never.
Or you could have gotten the whole class to do push-ups.
That's impossible because the class is not that big.
Oh, the
But
space
yeah,
is not that big.
yeah, the space is very limited.
You could have.
So,
You could have. How many students are there in the lecture hall?
yeah, yeah, but I could have asked a few of them and gave them a competition kind of thing. Let's see who can do it more,
Yeah. Said like I'm doing this push-up challenge right now. Who wants to join
who
me in
can
on it
do
right
more than
now?
me.
Yeah, yeah, or who can do more than me? And that could have gotten some of the push-ups in, right?
Yeah,
Yeah, man. Why not? Yeah, it'd be kind of fun. Anyways, all right. So you did 50 the second day. What'd you do the third day?
yeah. Right from there on, I stuck at 50 only
Oh,
for 3 days.
okay.
So, and that's it.
Well,
I lost the challenge.
there's more than 4 days in a week. What'd you do for the fifth, sixth, and seventh day? You did nothing.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh
I
my
lost the
god.
challenge from there on.
Oh my god. You
I
just
thought I would do 150 to cover it up, and like I'm in my mind. I said, okay, I'll try to reach 150, and nothing happened. Yeah, I couldn't
unbelievable.
get myself to do 25 even.
I am very disappointed in you.
Yeah,
Very, very disappointed.
yeah,
So,
my head is falling now
what?
from.
Yeah. So, what? Like, how would you do that? When the first day you did over 100, you said like, how'd you do it? You did it like all in one go, or did you do like 20, take a break, do another 20? Like, how'd you do?
Yeah,
How'd you
so
get there?
I had planned doing 25 at a time, so 4 times a day.
Okay,
That would,
it's pretty good.
and that's what I tried to follow the other days as well, 25 at a time. So, but on the first day, I was able to do it 4 times a day,
Okay,
or I shouldn't say able, I should say what I got to doing it.
well,
What?
that's
How
fine.
do we say it?
That's fine. You did it. You did it 4 times a day. That's it. You're able to do
Yeah,
it.
but on the other days, I failed to do. Yeah,
Yeah, you didn't
that
get
that
around to
would
doing
be,
it.
yeah, get around to do.
Yeah. Okay. All right. So, but the first day, did you did you spread it out throughout the entire day, the 4 sets, or did you
Yeah,
kind of do it back to back?
no, throughout the day, morning, afternoon, evening, night.
Okay. Okay.
That way.
Okay. Gotcha. Gotcha. Yeah, that's super easy. That's super easy because your body has plenty of time to rest.
Yeah,
You could do probably if you could do it like that, you could definitely do like 25, take like a 1 to 2 minute rest, and you could probably do like another 20. And then if you take another 5, 10 minute rest, you could do like another 20.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I certainly want to say it is very doable. It's all about
Very doable.
how you push yourself. It's all
Yeah.
about that.
Yeah.
So I think I am someone who has to come up with different strategies every now and then. This is what I feel because uh, even when I used to go to the gym, I always used to try these different routines instead of sticking to the same workout flow.
Right.
I was someone who would always try different routines and different uh, combinations
Sure.
of supersets. So I think that is what keeps it exciting, interesting
Sure.
to do it in a different way every time.
Sure.
So yeah, I guess this is what I've learned from this challenge, that if I have to complete it, I have to think of a different way every day.
Maybe. Or maybe you just need to make it a routine. Like it takes, I think, 10
Uh,
times doing something 10 times in a row for it to become a
mhm.
routine. And then you don't think much about it. You just do it.
Yeah, but for those 10 times, you have to come up with 10 different ways, right?
No, you just do it this. You
At least.
force yourself to do it exactly the same way 10 times. Just force yourself.
Yeah, but for me at least, I don't seem motivated to do that in a way, in that way.
Right. I guess
For 10 days,
that's
as
kind
I
of the whole point. The whole point is to not be motivated to do it, but do it anyways.
that's still motivation, right?
That's exactly what motivation is, right? To not be motivated, but to do it anyways.
Yeah. But I would say this for sure that for the few days that I did it, I definitely saw a difference in the uh, what do you call it? Definition. Yeah,
Yeah,
the definitions of the muscles. Yeah.
for sure. Yeah, it doesn't take long. Like you notice a pretty big difference very quickly. Very quickly.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
It didn't increase the size per se, but definition wise, yeah, it did great.
Yeah, it will make a difference for sure. Yeah.
Yeah, I
It'll
could
it'll
see
inc-
in the mirror.
it'll increase size if you do it for like, you know, quite a few months. Then you'll notice a difference.
And yeah, for size also I'll have to increase the load. Like I'll have to keep something on my back and then do the push-ups. That would definitely increase the size.
I think, like from my experience, you don't necessarily have to do that. Like you just do more of them.
I'm speaking from the scientific study point of view
Yeah,
because what
but
the study says that overloading, what is it called? Gradual overloading.
yeah, but what I'm talking about, the reason why this is, I think, a little bit different is because you're kind of doing that naturally. Because what's happening is as you do push-ups, as you do more push-ups, you're going to gain more muscle mass. So then you do push-ups with that new muscle mass. Right? You see what I'm saying? And then because of that, you're going to gain more muscle mass because you're having to push more muscle.
Yeah, agreed. It will increase the density of your muscles for sure.
So you don't necessarily need to increase load like with weights or anything. The load is already going to increase naturally because it's a body weight exercise. That's why body weight exercises are so impactful. They make a huge
So the
difference.
okay, so the what you're trying to say is it will definitely increase, but it may not increase as fast as for the
Yeah.
overloading.
Yeah, you'll kind of increase your muscle mass and your definition at the same time, like in a nice
Right, and that's
balanced
gonna
way.
take time. Yeah,
Yeah, in a nice balanced way too. So
understood.
that's what I think is good. Like so that way you won't be like super buff, but you'll be like bigger but more defined, which is I think is a really good balance.
Definitely.
Yeah.
So, what challenge would you give me this week?
Well, I would say the challenge is to get those 100 push-ups in. Figure out a way.
All right,
100
all right,
push-ups.
I'll do that.
Yeah.
So this time I'm gonna try different strategy every time, every
Yeah.
day.
Okay, whatever works. But we're not going to a brand new challenge until you get this one done.
Cool, awesome.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay,
And
let me think of a challenge for you. Are you open to that?
sure. Yeah, what's up?
How much time do you got? So I can give a challenge accordingly.
What do you mean how much time do I have?
In your day,
Oh, my day.
at your hand.
I'll make time. I mean, make it something that's like equivalent in terms of the amount of time it takes.
So let's give you a challenge of meditation if
Okay.
you're not already doing it.
Okay. I mean, I do some meditation already, but I could do more, or I could do something different or a
Right.
different style or
Okay, how much are you doing currently?
um probably on average about 5 minutes. Not a lot.
Okay, I was gonna give the same challenge. So 5 minutes a day I was going to give, but you're already doing that,
It's
right?
pretty easy to do. I have an app on my phone for guided meditations. I like guided meditations. I find them like much more enjoyable than just like sound and you're trying to get in the right headspace. You're trying to kind of clear your mind. I don't find that as helpful as the guided meditations where they are kind of telling you what to do. Yeah.
So my challenge would be doing an extra 5 minutes
Okay.
every day, but without any guidance, without any device or sounds.
Oh,
just on your own.
I'll end up falling asleep.
Yeah, that is uh, that is okay. If you feel you find a way to sleep, then it could become your bed routine, right?
Yeah, I will typically also, like, if I'm struggling to sleep in the middle of the night, I will force myself into a state of meditation. So I'll use like an anchor word, and I'll just repeat
Like
it.
ground.
Yeah, I'll repeat it, like just sleep, and I'll repeat it, and then I'll also, like, in my mind, I'll draw the letters of the word, like, really slow. And then I used to have another one where I would count from zero
100 to 1.
from zero all the way up, but with each number, I would draw out the number, the amount of times that for the number that I'm on. So for zero, I wouldn't draw the number at all in my mind, but for one, I would draw the number one time. And then for two, I would draw that number twice, and three times, and so on, as high as I needed to get to. And if I lost track of where I was, then I would start all over again.
Very interesting. I can get sleepy right now thinking about it.
Yeah, yeah. Like something, and I just draw it really slow. And I try to also draw like an intricate version of the number. So for the number one, I would
Mm.
kind of draw it up like this, and then like that. So not just the number one, not just a straight line, something more
So it has
intricate.
to go like a very
Yeah,
slow brush stroke.
yeah, yeah, yeah. And then a seven, like I
Interesting.
would do a seven where it like kind of goes up like this and then across, and I come back up and I put the kind of the line through the middle. I do seven like that.
Yeah, I
So
guess going slowly is the key.
yeah,
That that helps a lot.
really slow. And you do the number seven times, and then 10. You know you do that 10 times. And a zero, I put the cross through the zero.
Yeah, I can see you going into the sleep state, right?
Huh? Yeah.
All right, so our weekly challenge is in place. I
Yeah.
guess that's enough for today, or
Yeah. Yeah.
do you
Yeah.
have something else?
No, that's it. That's it. That sounds really good. I like it. Good catch up. Good chat. I'm enjoying it. I'm enjoying spending my time with you, and I really,
Likewise.
yeah, I appreciate that. I'm getting the impression like we're learning a lot about each other. It's kind of fun, kind of interesting, and you never know what we're going to talk about, which is also kind of cool too. So. Let's keep going. Let's keep doing it. And I'll name, I think today's topic is really interesting. Today's title is super easy to come up with: negotiation, push up challenge, or push up and meditation challenge.
And what did we talk about in between? Um,
I don't know.
I think there was something else too.
Was it? I think we talked about the weather for a moment, but nothing else that was major. We talked about clubbing a bit,
Mhm.
but nothing like that
Mm.
was major, you know?
Right.
Yeah. I think so it's fine. We'd have two topics, and that's okay. We don't have to have three every time. We could have one sometimes. You could have 10
Sure.
sometimes. It doesn't matter.
So negotiation and weekly challenge.
Negotiation, and I put push up and meditation challenge.
Yeah, that's good. So I'll see you probably on Saturday. But
Okay.
for last few weeks we aren't meeting on Saturdays, I guess.
Yeah, that's okay. I think as long as it's once a week, it's fine. That's just my opinion. But we'll aim for Saturday and see if we're able to do it. And if not, we'll pick another day. That works for me too.
Yeah, that has been working well actually.
Yeah.
So yeah, let's aim for Saturday again and let's see where we land.
Sounds good, man. All right.
Yeah. Anyways, our viewers are not waiting for us.
It's true. You better not be. If there are viewers right now,
Yeah.
you better not be waiting for us.
Yeah, we are not promising every Saturday.
Yeah, absolutely not. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Well, I will.
Okay.
I'll check you soon.
Yeah. See you and have a good night.
Appreciate it. You have a good night as well.
Oh yeah,
Oh,
about the outro. Last week,
oh yeah,
uh, we thought how we'll end the show, and I
yeah,
thought let's keep it simple, and you can end it by saying Namaste, which is the India's way of saying
sure.
bye bye or hello,
Okay.
and I would learn how Canadians do it.
Um, I mean, there's not a particular way. There's not a particular way everybody does it because in Canada it's very multicultural here. So some people will say a goodbye or a hello on from like a different culture than their own. It's yeah, anything goes. But
And there are a lot of French people in Canada, so would that be okay?
you'd say au revoir, au
Au
revoir,
revoir, au revoir, yeah,
au revoir. Yeah,
au revoir.
close enough.
Can you repeat that?
Au revoir.
Au revoir. I thought
So
it
it's
was
it's
au revoir.
yeah, au revoir. So it's AUREVOIR. Au revoir.
Au
Au,
revoir.
au
So
revoir.
R has to sound like H,
Yeah, sort of. Yeah,
the
yeah, yeah,
GH.
yeah. Sort of. Yeah,
Au
yeah.
revoir,
Au revoir. Yeah,
au
yeah.
revoir. Yeah,
Close.
I get it now.
It's
Yeah,
close. It's not
au
bad.
revoir
It's not bad. We'll practice it. Okay.
every week.
Yeah, sure. All right.
All
Namaste.
right, so au revoir.